One misnomer is thinking that higher resolution and frame rates would make a good game. The reality is, higher resolution and frame rates are there to make an already good game better. The game by itself could play at low resolution and low frame rates and still be peak experience at the core. I remember that, sure, you can call me a PC enthusiast, whatever the heck you want to call me, but before I actually returned into the dabbling of the PC, I was enjoying gaming on a console that I named my console, but the company named it the PlayStation 4. I eventually upgraded, and it was a PlayStation 4 Pro. And I remember that the games that I played on this my console did very well. I didn't even know what the resolution I was playing on was. I was enjoying myself, and I can tell you for sure that I think this has probably become a distraction in the gaming conversation. Now, this is not, anything to say against the PlayStation 5 Pro. I've already concluded it's a scam because it's not providing you much value in terms of, a broader experience, and you can't go anywhere from there other than buy another console when they ship another one and call it PS6. However, I think that the conversation continues to basically go all kinds of weird. Robert Ramsey writes, and I'm sure he's going to cite Digital Foundry because Digital Foundry actually was the first to put this out there. When it comes to playing Monster Hunter Wilds on the console, your best bet is by some distance is the PS5 Pro. This is what Digital Foundry's later analysis boils down to, with the team having now examined the action RPG across all available hardware. They also, according to Push Square, did their own analysis early this week, and it goes without saying that they're not experts like Digital Foundry. And so the report makes for an interesting read as it outlines some clear improvements on Sony's system. The thing though is, on the Pro, though this mode looks way better and runs way smoother, Digital Foundry says the improvement is down to a combination of beefier hardware, naturally, and Sony's PSSR upscaler. It is still not amazing. The resolution sticks around 1080p internally, but their overall image quality is basically night and day. And this is why on the comment section, some people were putting some comments showing the screenshots that, ladies and gentlemen, it's basically an output resolution that is pretty much going to be upscaled to 4K, and it has a 60 FPS frame rate. The idea here is that these companies are pretty much using these new tools, thinking that they're marketing tools, rather than us actually paying very close attention to the quality of the game. I can't iterate how much this whole thing about the frame rate and all this stuff has now become a huge confusion piece on the console side. I mean, think about it. We used to just basically go ahead and fire up a game and play the game. And this is one of the biggest frustrations that I actually do have with the PlayStation 5, the Series X, because these two consoles came to the market with all of these promises of insane performance and yada 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 yada, only for them to be able to go ahead and show us pretty much in a caveat in small fine print only for software that supports this particular resolution. Well, in this case, Monster Hunter Wilds is one of those software pieces that pretends to support such resolution 4K 60 because it's actually an output resolution of 1080p that's basically being dragged in order for it to be able to fit a 4K screen, and then hopefully we'll get to see what that experience looks like, because some are talking about the performance issues, the bad image quality, and bad PSSR implementation. So it's all over the place because you can see that Plus Square is saying one thing, and then WCCF Tech is saying another thing, and then Digital Foundry is saying another thing. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's just a distraction. It doesn't lend any credence to the quality of the game. Now, on the PC side, the challenge too is this also jumps into a distraction point as well. The developers have already given their little, recommended and minimum requirements. They probably go ahead and they expect for us to just pretty much go ahead and, check our hardware and figure out what's going on. However, when you read very closely into this particular thing, you see also that with minimum requirements, with a Ryzen 5 3600, a 1660 or a 5500 XT, you're coming in at 720 native resolution, 30 FPS expected at 1080p, but it's expected by them. What is your own reality? I guess your hardware would have to tell you. Another thing too is they're coming in with the recommended at the RTX 2060 or the 6600 in terms of your VRAM capacity. The game is expected to run at 1080p with 60 FPS, but the frame generation enabled under the medium graphics settings with direct storage supported. So obviously this game is a poorly optimized game. Like, just looking at what they're asking for and looking at the fact that they have to go ahead and add frame gen on hardware as such, it's just wild, ladies and gentlemen. And a game like this is probably going to eventually see itself in a weird place. And this is Capcom. Like, I can confidently say that this is probably one publisher that whatever you see from reviews and articles, you probably want to take with a massive grain of salt, because these guys clearly, if the game becomes a game that has an open world, it's a whole different conversation with them. Don't be fooled, though. They're Resident Evil games, and they're games that are made in close environments and such. These games have good optimization because you can account for so much. But with all kinds of different aspects of what would happen when you hit an open world, oh my gosh, it's a whole different conversation. And believe you me, Dragon's Dogma still has mixed reviews as it stands till this date, because the performance there is not exceptional. However, Dragon's Dogma is quite the decent game, as reports have shown. But still, the performance still comes in and still continues to put a dent in it. So what the problem I see here is, all of this talk about, oh, it runs perfect on the PS5 Pro, it does this, or it's the best place to play. To me, I think we need to just focus on saying, okay, we know that quality out the way, the quality is trash. But what is the content looking like? What are the pieces of the game that gamers are going to come in and want to enjoy and want to play? Because trust me, believe you me, this 4% very loud noise that we make on the internet, and I say 4% because of Matt Piscatella saying that 4% of gamers, buy, more than one game every month frequently, and then there's like 12% that will buy only 2 games a year, 1 game every 6 months. I think we are more interested in how this game is going to run, because I jumped in and bought Dragon's Dogma 2 day one. I mean, thankfully, I got it on a sale at CD Keys, but again, by today's metrics and today's standards, that particular number has greatly reduced over time with different sales going on. So can I be sure that if I drop the money for a game like this, I'm going to see my return? Or am I going to be looking again and saying, man, I probably could have waited and probably copped it for at least 50% off down the road? And this is where gaming is now going. We're looking at these games, and don't get me wrong, Capcom is doing well on PC, by the way. I want to make sure I make that a caveat. But we're looking at this game and we're wondering in our minds, saying, goodness gracious, what in the world is going on? And why are these things at the forefront of the conversation, or at least even in the conversation, rather than the quality of the game in terms of gameplay, mechanics, fun factor? Because to be honest, man, yes, game dropping FPS and such can be quite the mess. I understand. But again, if the game actually has the gameplay and the quality, it might be something I look forward to. Not saying I'm going to buy it with performance issues. No. I am not giving anybody money with performance issues. That's not happening. However, I can wait and look forward to their 100 patches. And once the game is ready, after Star Wars Jedi, we're not doing that again, I may be interested in taking a look in. Or after Dragon's Dogma, because I still made that silly mistake as well and jumped into that old thing without even paying close attention. My bad. Talk to me in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. Capcom is they're doing okay. They're bringing games, they're facing their own technical challenges, but man, they could do some real serious work in actually letting their games cook done before they bring it out. Or maybe at this point, I could just enjoy myself better if I just go ahead and lock the game to 30 FPS on a 4090 and be the most ridiculous Capcom video games player outside of Street Fighter, and basically be able to go back and relive my PlayStation 4 days experience. All right, I'm out. Peace out.